Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking what might just be the most fascinating tension in our modern digital lives. On one hand, we have the sheer incredible power of AI-driven personalization. Those experiences that seem to magically anticipate exactly what you need before you even click. But on the other hand, well, there's a rapidly growing fear of digital surveillance. It's essentially the ultimate tightrope walk for brands and consumers alike, and we're going to unpack exactly how it works, why it really matters, and where this whole thing is heading.
Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to reflect on your own daily digital experiences for just a second. You're browsing for a pair of shoes, right? And suddenly, those exact shoes are following you across literally every single app on your phone. Sometimes, the recommendation is so staggeringly accurate, you kind of wonder if your microphone is secretly recording your conversations. It begs the central question we're exploring today. Is this level of personalization creepy, or is it just incredibly cool and convenient? The answer, as it turns out, is currently shaping a multi-billion-dollar industry.
To understand why companies are pushing the boundaries of what they know about you, we've got to look at the massive financial incentive driving this whole thesis. According to data from McKinsey, companies that successfully implement hyper-personalization see a massive 10 to 15% revenue lift. And when you're talking about the scale of global retail, finance, or travel, a 15% lift is absolutely transformative. This is the ultimate prize, delivering the exact right product to the exact right person at the exact right moment.
But right next to that massive revenue potential, we slam directly into a brick wall, the antithesis of this data-driven dream. According to research from User-Centrics, 77% of global consumers do not fully understand how their data is being collected and used. Just think about that. That is a staggering disconnect. You've got brands racing at breakneck speed to build deeply personalized experiences, while more than 3/4 of the people they're targeting feel confused, left in the dark, or frankly, a little suspicious about what's actually happening behind the curtain.
So, what exactly are we talking about here? Let's define it. We aren't just talking about an email that says, "Hi, insert your first name here." That's ancient history. We're talking about hyper-personalization. This means leveraging first-party data, machine learning, and advanced AI to create real-time, highly individualized experiences across every single platform you use. It's totally context-aware. It actually knows if you're browsing leisurely on a Sunday morning or if you're rushing to buy a last-minute gift on a Tuesday afternoon, and it adapts instantly.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast between the old marketing playbook and this new era. In the past, companies relied on calendar-based mass discounts. Think of your standard holiday sale, where literally everyone gets 20% off. Today, new AI-driven engines create dynamic bundles perfectly tailored to your real-time intent. The system might calculate that, hey, you don't actually need a 20% discount to convert, but you would buy instantly if they offered free expedited shipping right now. It's a completely customized one-to-one interaction.
Section 1. How AI powers experiences. Behind the magic.
We can break this complex architecture down logically using a framework from McKinsey known as the 4D+1 architecture. It starts with data collection, gathering every click and scroll. Step 2 is decisioning, where AI algorithms actually predict what you're going to want next. Step 3 is design, where generative AI creates the imagery and copy right on the fly. Step 4 is distribution, across apps, web, and email. And finally, measurement. This creates a continuous feedback loop that makes the AI smarter with every single interaction. And that brings us to some truly cutting-edge concepts, like Gen UI, or Generative User Interfaces. Imagine an app that doesn't just change the products it shows you, but it actually rebuilds its own layout, its vocabulary, and its buttons based purely on your immediate intent. If you're a power user, it gives you complex data tables. If you're a novice, it gives you large, simple buttons. The interface essentially acts as an intelligent agent, mapping itself directly to what you're trying to accomplish in that exact millisecond. It's wild.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 2, the privacy and trust dilemma, the algorithmic risk.
There's this quote from User-Centrics that I think absolutely hits the nail on the head. The algorithms behind these systems don't naturally respect boundaries. They optimize for engagement, conversion, and revenue. It's a very real dilemma. When AI starts connecting dots that we never explicitly shared, like maybe inferring things about our health or our personal finances just from our routine browsing habits, it can feel pretty invasive. It crosses an invisible boundary. And, when that happens, trust just shatters.
And listen, that shattered trust has a massive business cost. Look at this breakdown. 73% of consumers say they are more likely to buy from brands they believe protect their personal data. Being overly invasive isn't just a misstep anymore. Actually, scratch that. It's a rapid way to lose market share.
Trust is now a massive, quantifiable competitive differentiator. If your personalization engine crosses the line, users won't just complain. They are going to actively abandon your brand for a competitor.
Section 3. Navigating rules and regulations. Strict legal frameworks.
We're now operating in a world completely defined by complex global privacy frameworks. You've got the EU AI Act, the GDPR, California's CCPA, India's Digital Personal Data Protection Act, and Virginia's CDPA, just to name a few. Now, these aren't just political constraints. They're fundamental market realities. They're designed to ensure transparent data collection, prevent algorithmic overreach, and guarantee that companies secure explicit consent before feeding user data into these massive personalization engines.
So the crucial point is this: building privacy into personalization from the very start is no longer just some legal compliance exercise. It's about market survival. Non-compliance results in massive regulatory fines, yes, but the much more devastating blow is the irreversible damage to brand reputation. Once a consumer realizes you misused their data, winning them back is nearly impossible.
Section 4. The consent-based future. Resolving the paradox.
And this brilliantly illustrates the path forward. Historically, the whole data landscape relied on third-party data bought from external brokers, which carries a high privacy risk and, honestly, low actual value. Today, first-party data from direct brand interactions is highly valuable. But look at the bottom row here: zero-party data. This is data explicitly and willingly shared by the user. It has the absolute lowest privacy risk and the highest possible value because it relies on users actively trading their preferences in exchange for genuinely better, tailored experiences.
To actually manage this new zero-party, consent-driven world, a totally new technology stack is emerging right before our eyes. We're seeing server-side tracking that strictly enforces user consent before data ever even moves. We have AI-driven anonymization, quantum-secure encryption, autonomous AI privacy agents that monitor compliance in real time. We are even seeing the rise of AI-generated synthetic data, literally fake data that perfectly mirrors real human behavior, so systems can train safely without ever exposing a single real person's private info.
Now here is perhaps the most optimistic data point in the entire explainer: 86%. According to industry data, 86% of consumers are actually completely willing to share their email and personal details for personalized experiences, provided there are clear incentives and, most importantly, transparency. This proves a really vital truth. Humans fundamentally want personalization. We love experiences that cater to us, as long as that relationship is built on a solid foundation of explicit trust.
It's a really delicate balancing act, and it's one that's going to define the next decade of our digital lives. So I'll leave you with this thought to mull over the next time an app seems to literally read your mind. How much of your own digital footprint are you truly willing to trade for the perfect, frictionless user experience? Thank you so much for joining this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the algorithms around you.